All right, welcome to the podcast. This is probably going to be called the Championcast, and we're going to talk about patreon.com/Ben Saints Comic, the Champion, which you can find on saintcomics.com.
I think it's important to say we will not be talking about the Patreon exclusive pages.
Yes, we will not be talking about Patreon exclusive pages, only pages that are up on the website, out for everyone to view.
Because we're not elitists.
And we're not patrons.
I am.
Well, good
I used all my money to donate to him last stream, so I'm not.
All right. Anyway,
we're not patrons, but we may come off as patronizing.
Yeah. We're Ben Saint dick writers, and that's good enough. Okay, I'm Sporktown Hero. That's probably not what the YouTube channel is going to be called, but don't worry about it. Who else is here?
I'm Xavier. You will have 0% chance of knowing anything about me, so don't worry about that.
Excellent.
But this is your opportunity to let yourself be known.
Well, if I'm known later, I'll just send them back to this, I guess.
Okay.
That's Hargadine.
I'm Hargadine. I'm the girl, supposedly.
Throw all your angry or feet comments at her.
Give me all your bullshit, and I will cry.
It was the law. We had to have one obligatory girl for the podcast.
Indeed.
Yeah, it's not legit otherwise. That's why the PCP is going to die, because Mage is never there.
Garbage burner, introduce yourself.
all right. Hello, I am Garbage Burner. That is my YouTube name. I have a tiny little YouTube channel that you should go check out by the same name, where I don't do anything. Thank you very much. Please step on my balls.
Okay, well,
No.
I'm Sweet and Butter. I make art. You can find me at Straw Chair, I think it is.
Still like this.
I don't even know my own. What? Oh, jeez. What did I do?
God.
Oh, fuck. Did I spike?
You're completely understandable, except
You're like
at 50%
speed.
yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah, so
Oh
it
my
just
God.
sounds like you're really drunk and slurring all you.
It's beautiful.
Yes.
Introduce yourself again. Try again.
Okay, well, my name is Sweet and Butter. I make art. You can find me at Twitter at Strawchair and Instagram. Same name, Strawchair. I make gay ass art, and that's it.
It's not gay. Go look at it. It's all great.
It's gay,
Sweet
but
butter is
it's
big boy.
gay.
Okay, it is gay, but it's also great. So go look at it.
Ray.
Yes, and then there's me, the real star of the show. I am Ray the Offbeat Otaku, also known as Ray, world famous YouTube superstar with a whopping 138 subs. I'm coming for you, PewDiePie. I make shitty anime podcasts and live streams and slightly less shitty scripted videos that come out like once every 5 months.
Excellent.
Yeah, go watch his scripted videos too because they're okay.
We're
Because they're okay.
we're gonna be discussing.
All right.
I think all my content is worth watching. I just like self-deprecating humor.
Go there
I
later.
think
To
we
be
all
fair,
do.
I haven't heard one of your podcasts yet. I decided later.
So I'm
I
like the
haven't listened to
opposite,
your
where
podcast, but I have watched your videos.
I'll have to check that out. Where I say everything I do is good, but it's actually bad.
All right, time for the
Is that,
time for
like,
the discussion.
The whole joke for the whole internet?
Stop. Yeah. All right. We.
So speaking of
this
stuff
isn't
that's
the-
actually bad,
Yeah, The Champion by patreon.com/Ben Saint. The Champion is a webcomic about this girl named Sophia. She's the champion, and she kills dudes, and it's totally sick.
So
Sick,
agreed.
yeah.
So there's that, but then on Ben Saint's official Patreon, Here's his description. The Champion is a fantasy story about a girl stuck in a job she hates. It's been compared to One Punch Man, but personally, I think it's more like Watamote. 50 pages of the first chapter are currently available to read. Actually, they're not, you hack fraud, but it's still early, so I won't say any more about it.
Excellent. That was a good idea.
Okay,
I should have done that.
Get wrecked.
I am looking at the Urban Dictionary definition of champion. Someone who commits an act of the following: extreme courage, extreme awesomeness, or extreme stupidity. One who is worthy of positive recognition for such an act may be shortened to champ.
That is probably my least favorite part of the
second definition: a drink consisting of half sweet tea and half beer, a popular drink on hot days in the South. That sounds awesome.
That does sound good.
Sweet tea.
However, I wonder why you're reading something off of Urban Dictionary. I wonder what brought that one up.
Yeah.
That is my least favorite part of the podcast.
That sounds like a stupid gimmick.
Primal,
I mean, we might as well just admit we're boneless PCP right away.
Boneless.
Boneless PCP.
I am boned as shit.
Boneless PCP is too high a compliment. We are the boneless crow masticators.
Nah.
I think we are firmly PCP adjacent. Let's
should
stop talking about the PCP right now.
Because I'm in the Crow Masticators.
No,
I believe that.
We can't relate to those folk.
We cannot.
I
have disassociated and disowned the PCP.
Yeah.
You
have to separate from them.
We should not talk about the PCP at all.
That have ever been made. So there's a comic that we
already did that part. Okay, so
yeah.
So okay, let's do a quick little round table, or whatever you want to call it. Just give a yay or a nay to the Champion. I give it a yay.
Nay.
I give it a yay.
I'm joking. It's great. I love it. Good. It's good.
I would give it a resounding yay.
I give it a J.
I give it a soft yay.
Yeah, I give it a J, and with Ben said that he compared it to Watamote. I compare it,
but
I compare it to Scott Pilgrim, but if he kept being an asshole and had tits.
I would compare it to like Clerks or
yeah.
I don't know, Waiting. You remember that movie Waiting?
Yeah.
Everyone works at shenanigans and they hate their fucking job and they're overqualified.
I haven't seen that one, no.
Also, I hate Watamote and I like the Champion. So
yeah. So.
Well, I think he means for it to become more Watamote, like because he's written more than he's drawn or posted. So I think later it gets more like that as it gets more into Sophia's life, but we just haven't had a chance to do that yet in the comic. It's been one day in the comic, and that one day is not even done yet. It's still like the early afternoon of the first day of the story of the comic.
Fuck you, Benson. What the fuck are you doing?
We should reiterate, we are basically talking about half a chapter. We are talking about half a chapter.
Yeah.
But it's half the chapter that's been out for like 6 years, so...
Basically.
Correct.
More like a year and a half.
Alright, so let's start talking about the premise of the Champion. So in the Champion, we've got this girl Sophia. She's a super powerful magic user, and her job is to be the champion for this empire who collects prisoners and makes them fight to the death. So Sophia,
for entertainment.
Yes, for entertainment.
You have to specify that.
Her job is basically to be this entire what would be the word for it? City, this entire nation's John Cena mascot.
John Cena.
Yeah.
Her job is to be unbeatable and to be their face, their big face that they parade around and go, This is our pride and joy.
This is some ancient Colosseum brutal fighting mixed with a commentary on like modern day wrestling. It's like
Yeah.
Weird mix of the two, but there's also magic involved because fuck it, why not?
Yes, Ben thinks wrestling would be better if they died.
Yeah,
and
this
it
is like
would
a
be.
techno
It would
fantasy,
be.
which is
it's
urban
fantasy.
Okay, so yeah, that's.
I wouldn't say
They use
techno.
modern clothes and like others.
There's nothing really technological going on
like
in the comic or in this society.
Yeah, that's why I said urban fantasy.
Urban.
They have a
Urban
bunch
fantasy.
of mass-produced products, like she drinks out of like a
Yeah.
coffee cup,
Yeah,
and
coffee
like
cup.
Yeah,
I don't know,
they have
wearing
garbage,
sweaters
and
and stuff.
I'm like slightly annoyed that there's garbage in this world when they have magic.
Since we were talking about this, I actually want to quickly bring up her friend, which something about her confuses me a lot, and it's because she
Who,
looks like
Agatha?
she. Yeah, I think it's Agatha.
Definitely
like her name
Agatha.
doesn't seem to get
That's
said
her
a
name.
lot. But yeah, her
Abigail,
friend
right? Or
appears to
Agatha?
It's Agatha.
Basically, her friend appears to be wearing literally like a potato sack,
Yeah.
where everyone else wears
Yeah.
contemporary clothes.
Okay, I thought about that. I'm pretty sure it's not tattered. I think that's just like frills in
It's
Ben
fashion.
Sane's style. I think that's just.
And Ben
It
Sane is
still
just such a
looks
bad
like
comic
tatters.
artist that it looks like peasant clothes.
It's just because the panels that she's featured in aren't as detailed as a lot of the other character panels
Yeah.
so far. So it
Yeah.
looks. But I mean, like, if you watch that speed draw where he was drawing this page, you can see that
Yeah.
originally it was more frilly. And when he was first making the champion, you saw on his Twitter when he did, he posted pictures of just like the character designs, not panels from the comic. And you could see that it was intended to be more frilly. Like she's supposed to be wearing like a delicate maiden dress, not like a fucking potato sack. But it does kind of look like that in her little chibi form, in her less detailed panels.
In like every black and white page I see, I always think it's a potato sack. Though I always think it's a raggedy potato sack, and she's like supposed to be a commoner or something.
Yeah, I thought that was the point.
Well, she is a
she's
sign
not like
maker
a fucking-
apprentice. She's
Yeah.
a sign maker's apprentice is her job, which is
She's
interesting.
She's a filthy fucking normie. She's the unwashed masses, but she is not a straight up
She's
hobo.
doing
No, she's a total Coliseum otaku.
Yeah, she's a nerd.
And that's interesting. We have coffee cups. We have like a Starbucks equivalent, and we also have.
And they talk about everything like video games.
Yeah, we have like sign makers apprentices. We have hoodies, and we got magic, and it's cool.
And the roads are made of brick and old-timey stone, but all the buildings look like skyscrapers.
I feel like
it's
the setting is
modern
actually the
day
weakest part.
setting, but it's in an ancient city like in Europe or something.
Yeah.
I don't think they look like skyscrapers. I think we've only seen buildings like once or twice. Have
Well,
there
if
been?
you go to
skyscrapers.
page 11, the top of page 11, it looks like a condominium complex.
Yeah, it looks like there's just a bunch of apartments around where they're drinking coffee, and it's like, I'm saying the setting's probably the weakest part because it's so.
I wouldn't say.
Well, I don't know.
actually like
Because
it. I
that
actually
could
like
be
it.
a really strong setting. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the
If they
thing
kind
is,
of-
right now they're still building everything
the
up.
urban
Right now
and
they're
magic-
trying to get the
urban and magic parts,
mechanics out of the way first.
It is only like the first half of a chapter, but the urban mechanic parts seem to just kind of be very separated from each other.
It's a little mismatched, yeah.
I like it.
Yeah.
I really like
I
blends
think
of
I
urban.
really like it. I want to say that I think I will.
Oh no, sweet one.
Sweet, wait, sweet.
So,
Oh,
Because
no.
alright, Mugen.
did I cut out?
No, you're just still like 50% speed.
This
It hurts my heart.
Does it work now?
It does not work now. No. Don't worry. When you give me the recording,
This is comedy gold right here.
this
This is how history is made, bro.
Is there any way to capture this slowness in the actual podcast?
I'm recording his audio right now, so yes, it is being
Wait,
captured.
let me
Thank
edit
God.
it. when we edit it, we could speed his part up right there, but then it won't make sense that we're all freaking out over it.
I don't think that'll work.
It cuts up just a little bit, so if you sped it up, it would sound even more weird.
It'll sound terrible, yeah. You're recording your audio, right, Sweet?
Yeah.
Yeah, so when you send it to me,
so.
when you send it to me, it'll be fine.
Sweet. We don't want to make you feel bad.
No, Sweet.
Yeah, I'm like feet red right now. Embarrassment. I'm gonna disappear now.
No, stay. This is good.
Sad boys.
We're all happy to have you here.
No, but I was gonna say... Okay. Then, okay.
It's like Eeyore.
Talk really fast.
Me.
Yeah, double speed.
Okay.
Sweet sounds incredible.
Okay, let me finish my point now. Oh god.
You're fixed.
What do I do then?
Good, go right now. Go ahead.
Go and we'll be quiet.
Okay, I was gonna say that the environment doesn't bother me that much, since that doesn't seem to be the focus. It's more about Sophia and her being a amoral bitch who doesn't care about the problems that are happening.
It's a job.
Although, and she hates it. Although it seems that the rebels don't seem that nice either. Since there's like in Taptastic, I think Ben did an illustration about Damien, where he sits in a big throne all evilly with shark teeth.
Is this
so? Like, does it work? The audio sound good?
Yeah.
It doesn't sound good, but
okay.
we hear you and we can comprehend you.
Is this coming on Tapastic as well?
Yeah, you can
he has some
Tapastic, and you can find it. It's like between some pages. I don't remember which, but the point is that they're basically all assholes. That's the point. Like, even the rebels, like, Ben gave a hint that Taro is not even that of a nice guy. Does it work? Nobody's speaking.
Oh, we're just being quiet so you can make your points.
Hello?
Yeah.
Oh,
well, okay, so about everybody being assholes. That's interesting.
Well, actually, I want to comment on the Taro part.
Okay, well, I'm just...
Go on about Taro.
Yeah. Me or him?
You.
Okay. Taro, I can kind of see where you're coming from with saying he's an asshole, except we didn't really see enough of him to say if he was an asshole, but because he was just kind of being, like, everyone we see fighting seems to either be billed as the good guy or the bad guy, so for all we know, Taro is just fighting just because.
Yeah, so
it is suggested in the story, with the behind the scenes with the managers talking to Hyperion, that obviously public opinion is being painted and manipulated. There's a lot of propaganda about how bad the rebels really are. I mean, part of it is for the story, for the entertainment purpose of the fights, but part of it is probably political too, and it probably changes like the public opinion outside of the fights and in the actual society itself. Who knows what the rebels have really even done? What are they actually rebelling about? We don't have a lot of this story yet because, like we've all said, it's only the first half of a chapter, and a lot is still being established. But there's a lot hinted at, there's a lot alluded to, and it's going to be exciting to see where this goes.
There's also something I want to say about Damien. That's what we don't see Damien actually kill anybody.
Not yet.
Yeah.
Although I would say that Damien probably kills a lot of people in his own time.
Oh, but, he totally is a he's painted as like a self-righteous kind of guy, but at the same time, he seems to believe he's doing well. And
it could also be that Damien is doing like a redemption arc thing where he used to kill people, and now he feels bad, and he's trying to make up for it, so he like let himself get caught. Maybe.
Well, I don't think that.
Well, I think
what I'm
get caught too. take Taro.
What I
bust out of there.
What I think about the rebellion goes along with this sort of society we're being shown here, which is a society that is totally warped and corrupt morally. We have blood sport against prisoners for entertainment, and people are just totally fine with it. They're fine with all the murder and violence. So, with the rebellion that Damien was a former commander of, I believe that sort of is hinting at this the larger society probably is not a very good place morally, and people
you can't make assumptions like they are a moral society or something, because the morals you're brought up with, that you're taught in any society, is what you're going to think is right. So they're different than us, so from our perspective, the society we're raised in, we think that what they're doing is wrong, but they obviously don't, and if they knew of anything else, they probably would change their minds.
But I think that's the point, though.
Yeah, and
I think
I'll let you go on, because I've had a couple points already.
I think the rebels are it hasn't happened yet, but I think what it's going to be is the rebels are going to be more aligned with our morality, trying to topple this terrible kingdom system that we have put in place that probably does not care too much for human rights. We don't know exactly outside of the Colosseum, but
I think you could be right.
Here's the thing with the rebels. I think the question here is, does Ben want to go for like kind of an encouraging message about how you can change the world? Does he want to crush the nihilism of Sophia, or does he want to validate it?
So I think... Yeah. Oh, yeah, you go. All right. Well, then I'll go. Okay. So I think that the whole point of this comic is going to be Sophia very slowly learning to stop not giving a fuck, because now this is my guess, and I haven't read the Patreon pages yet, so I don't know. But it ends when, Damien gives her this, like, you have all the power in the world, why do you take no responsibility for anything? I'm pretty sure what she's going to do next is just fucking vaporize him and go home and have some food.
So you're talking about page 48, right? Because
you know
how we mentioned Tapastic?
Yeah.
He has 4 more pages available there.
Oh, okay. So
really?
Did he put his pages there?
He has 4 pages past what he has on his website there.
Okay, so on Tapastic, does she fight Damien?
Well, okay. So 48 there, he gives the speech, and then on 49, she punches him, and then on page 50, she says that basically she held back there, and that they're essentially on the same side because they both hate the city. The difference is that she's giving them exactly what she wants because she thinks that the best way to fight them is to take as much money from them as possible. And then page 51, she blasts him with a little magic thing. Page 52, he's kind of crawling up, and he says that people like her are why people like them can get away with whatever they want, and that really she's even worse than they are.
Okay, yeah, I'm looking it up right now. Yeah,
Damien is the good guy. I like him.
I immediately wanted Damien to die as soon as I saw him.
Actually, there is something I want to mention about Damien, because this is something I heard from Ben Saint when I was watching one of his art streams, and that's that he does consider Damien to be kind of similar to the shonen protagonist type character, highly idealistic, you kind of get the idea, highly idealistic and kind of powerful, but
naive.
He is not the protagonist of this story, so he is not going to win this. This is not his day.
Well, I'm really under the impression that good and bad are not going to be clearly defined as the story goes along. It's just going to become more and more obscured. Everybody's going to be on a gray spectrum, and that in the end, there's not going to be a moral of the story to the comic. It's probably going to ask more questions of the viewer because that's more interesting. than answering them for
Yeah.
you. I don't think this is like Ben's propaganda to the world, like, this is what I think, and I wish you all thought the same as me. I don't think he's going that route. That just doesn't seem Ben, you know?
I don't think that either.
Well, I would say in comparison to the Vapors, that probably will be at least what happens throughout the early chapters, because all we've seen in the Vapors is basically characters acting kind of in their way, and then us learning a bit about them, but with no real like changes by the end of the chapter. It's just kind of what they do and how they live their life.
In real life, people change a lot less than in like an action drama. You know, this is a story trying to go somewhere. It's trying to get you amped. It's trying to get you excited while you read it. The Vapors is real low key. It's real it's exactly how you'd be in real life hanging out. You know, shit doesn't happen.
I think the fact that Champion is a larger scale story, that's why I think that Ben will have I don't think he'll directly state any messages, but I feel like he will have some in there.
I think Sophia's going to have some kind of moral growth.
At the very least,
if she doesn't have an arc, then I hate her.
What?
I don't know. I really like her right now.
Maybe her arc will be that she doesn't have an arc, that she is that she just becomes more calloused and more more detached from everything as time goes on.
It would be really, really strange, but kind of interesting and unique to have your main character be the only one left behind by like a changing world. You know, the whole society moves on and she's stuck.
If everyone has an arc but her, like everybody gets a satisfying change but her, that would be real funny. I would love that. That would be great. But earlier you guys said that she's like I forgot what word you used, but it seems like you guys all think that she doesn't give a shit about stuff. And I feel like that conversation she's having with Agatha demonstrates that she does in fact feel, but doesn't express it right, that her actions don't necessarily sync up with her internal turmoil.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
I agree.
Some people, it's like, I'm not going to say she's tsundere exactly.
No.
It seems like she acts apathetically out of a sort of frustration that's turned into a sort of a giving up, like not fighting the things she doesn't like. She just accepts that shit is shitty and does her best to not disturb anything. She just goes with whatever is expected of her, right?
Right.
But she doesn't make it easy for anybody to get her to cooperate. And she doesn't want people to know that she cares, because maybe she just doesn't want people to know her true motivations. That would get her in trouble. If people knew what she said to Damien, they can't all hear her conversation with Damien in the audience. If people knew what she was saying, she'd probably get kicked out, you know?
I agree. Yes, I agree.
But I think she genuinely cares about Agatha.
Yeah, I think she kind of looks up to the working class kind of people who are just kind of happy to go about their normal day. I don't think she likes the whole big over the top thing. I think she would rather more people be like that.
She doesn't like being the center of attention.
I think
the drama seems embarrassing to her.
I think she is high enough or acquainted enough with the system to know its flaws, but also believes that she is relatively powerless to really do anything to change the system. Because
and at the same time,
really relatable.
Yeah, she's become so I mean, she's got these like level, 50 spells or whatever, while everybody else is in the single digits. Level 90 spells, depending on what she's doing. And like, she had to get that powerful somehow. She had to come from somewhere, and I'm guessing she probably started out very idealistic and excited about this whole thing, earned her place as the champion, and then realized that everything sucks.
Yeah, maybe she used to be like extremely studious, like straight A student, like super overachiever academics in like magic school or whatever. And
I was
maybe
actually
she's blue blood. Maybe she's from like aristocracy.
Sweet, you're not coming through.
Oh,
sweet, you're not.
Yes.
It's not happening.
Yeah.
That's not just slow. We don't even understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
Sweet. Why don't you try unplugging your mic and coming back in?
Yeah.
Disconnect from your internet and reconnect.
Talk anymore. I'm gonna just bye.
You still want
All
to try
right,
to
buddy.
talk?
Yeah, you should
We'd still
try.
like to have you on.
How about you type and one of us dictates for you?
That'll
work. That'll work.
Okay, well, it's not going to be me because I keep getting.
Okay. Yeah, that works.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes.
Sweet and Butter says, "I'll probably do that."
Well, he says he'll probably do that because he's strict.
Yes, of course.
He's so tight.
He also says,
with a PH.
"Okay." Well, I was gonna say that.
Let's not do this.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, when he has a point, we will say, and we will work off that point.
Yeah. We will.
Okay.
I just want him to still be able to be involved despite technical difficulties.
Yeah.
We're gonna
feel left out.
we're gonna tell him. We're gonna say what he says, and we're gonna talk about it. We're gonna discuss.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
we can't just kick
There
out
was
someone
actually-
half an hour into the podcast.
And I wouldn't want
True,
to.
that's too mean.
Yeah, I don't want to kick anyone out.
Okay, so
There was actually a point I wanted to make about her magic.
I was gonna make a point about
Okay,
that
go
too.
on.
Well, yeah, it was something that the only time that we see them showing off her magic and the kind of spell levels and stuff is when he does that, and her armor is glowing really bright. So I wonder if it's just the magic is attached to her armor and she doesn't really understand the magic that well.
Okay.
And these are just items given to her.
Under the assumption that it was magic enhancing elements, enhancing armor.
I had a point about that, or thing.
I don't
About
think
that.
so.
Okay,
I mean,
so
her
wait.
super high level skills were like something with like 4 pluses after it, so it could be enhanced by the armor.
Yeah. So the magic system in the Champion is sort of a video gamey type of system where magic spells have levels and higher spells are obviously more powerful. So Sophia is shown to be a very adept magic user, and she uses her magic to do all sorts of things, like she can put glamours on herself to change her appearance, and all sorts of things like that. And it's implied that magic is kind of difficult for the normal populace to do. So
still at the same time, when you say that, she says that level 1 spells are like grade school easy, so that I would say that's only hard for certain people to do, and some people just catch on easier than others.
Some people have a talent.
I think that One Punch Man comparison comes back into play, where she's infinitely powerful in this world of generally not powerful people.
Well, we haven't really seen many other people on a similar level of strength compared to her. Like, we haven't seen the top bar. We haven't seen if there's anyone else top bar as high as she is.
So Sweet is talking about something that I was going to talk about as well. That it seems her family is kind of well connected, and maybe she's government funded. I think is the word you might be looking for there. But
she's a government employee
paid based on her performance, basically. Is what I think is because she says if Damien puts on a show for her when she kills him, then she gets a bonus for her pay.
So when Damien does this detect magic spell, we see that Sophia is clad in all of this crazy armor and equipment that has like level 50 and level 70 and 90. With with a lot of pluses on it, armor, and I'm wondering if that armor was enchanted by her as well, or maybe that the armor is given to her so that she can do her job by higher ups.
That all the pluses afterwards are spell types. Like, it's a haste bonus, and it's a haste bonus of 4.
Yeah, it's basically 4 pluses. Is basically haste. Is like haste 5.
They're buffs. Yeah, there's buffs on all of her equipment. Crazy.
Yeah,
buffs.
but I don't think her magic in particular is her armor is the magic part so much as she is an adept magic caster.
I was only mentioning it because when he uses the detect magic, her armor is glowing like crazy and just appearing to be emanating power. She's just kind of like a silhouette under it.
Yeah, it's obvious that the armor itself is imbued with magic, but we don't yet understand if it enhances her magic or if it is itself is just enhanced by magic.
Or if the source is from her.
Because her sword appears to do like the disintegrating thing, and it appears to be like the one where it says dragon breathing next to it.
Yeah.
Well, it's a dragon fire.
Yeah, dragon fire, sorry.
It sounds like it's a spell that you can cast with it.
That would go with her. That would go with her. How she thinks she's powerless. She appears incredibly powerful to pretty much everybody else, every warrior and every normal civilian. But if this equipment is coming from the upper tiers of the government, and we know about this thing like a Lord Magus or something. So she might not actually be that powerful. She could just be the face, really. And the equipment she's using is enhancing her abilities. She's obviously a good magic user as well, but it could be the equipment is giving her the grand majority of her power, or she's pretty low tier compared to the upper levels of this empire.
Well, once again,
is happening.
We don't know if it's a government thing or if it's an aristocracy thing. We don't know if this is like some like borderline royalty kind of bullshit, or if it's like actually like some utilitarian bullshit. You know?
It could be.
But also, I want to mention the Lord Magus.
Oh yeah,
the Lord Magus, however you want to pronounce it. That's a Star Trek reference. That's if you know what the Ferengi are, the really big-eared, ugly dudes who are obsessed with making money. So I think that sort of suggests it might be more of a government thing than an aristocracy thing.
I think there is at least an aristocratic element to this society.
Because there is.
Yeah, I mean, it could be ruled by. Yeah, it could be ruled by nobility, but also still just be very money-oriented.
Right.
Yeah.
I think Damien references the crown at one point, so I think there is a royalty. She might not be a part of this royalty, but
like she might be like distant relative, like not highest up, like not like a princess or something, but maybe like what do you call it, like a lord and lady kind of situation, you know?
Yeah,
like,
they
look more classical, like a knight. You know,
people seem to like only recognize her by her place as the champion, not as her like place as royalty or anything. So I don't think that is a part of it. I think that she is famous for her work in the Colosseum.
It seems this society is sort of like both a what is it called? Sort of like a monarch aristocratic type, but also combined with like a business-oriented type environment, I think.
It could be sort of similar to like modern-day England, where they have the royal family, but also like they are still like this capitalist democracy.
I doubt there's democracy here, though.
No, not democracy here, but I'm saying there's a duality to modern-day England, and there's probably a similar duality to this situation.
I think so.
Like there's sort of a puppet monarch.
And I think Sophia's family is definitely pretty high up.
Like she's definitely not some poor ass, she's not a street urchin. She wasn't raised by like working class parents, it seems like. You know, it definitely seems like in a caste system in this society, even if she's not the highest, she's somewhere up there, and so is the rest of her family.
Right.
And apparently her dad is also a magic user. I wonder if magic is inherited. It probably contributes somewhat to your ability to use it. You probably need like some magic in your family.
I think it's probably talent-based, just like pretty much any other skill.
Yeah, actually I want to return to the grade schooler line, because she refers to that like in general, so I don't think it's a blood thing. I think it's just that maybe only people in the higher classes get taught it.
And it could be like any kind of
school, you're right.
Yeah, like any kind of sport, you know, if your parents are athletic, you inherit a certain amount of athleticism.
Sure.
But anyone can get pretty good, and anyone can lose their athletic ability.
Yes.
Yeah.
A combination of nature and nurture.
So, like you guys said, Damien does say that Sophia is serving the crown.
Mm-hmm,
so.
Okay. So there is definitely a crown.
Yeah, there is a royal element going on, and it is it's an empire. I think they refer to it as. But they are.
So she's probably like from a family of like what might be the equivalent of knights or something.
Maybe so.
That sounds about
right.
right.
I mean, I could see getting some kind of title for her work, or having a family that has a family trade of being champions.
Because her dad definitely answers to higher ups. He answers to a Lord Magus, so she's clearly, her family is pretty up there in the rungs. Yeah.
And then there's all the shady business suit people who are kind of making moves in the background.
I think those people are just basically storyline planners for the Coliseum event. That's basically just what they do. They just write the stories to influence the crowd.
I think so
they're
too.
Managers and producers, and they probably report to somebody too who outlines somewhat the propaganda that they're giving to the public. You know.
I think they're in the same line of work.
How powerful they are.
I think they're in the same line of work as Sophia's dad. I think.
Possibly.
They seem to be on equal standings on the I can't remember any of the names on Hyperion, the announcer for the stadium, because when he kind of goes over their heads, he appears to not be in too much trouble for it.
But he also is he has his little cartoony sweat drop of did I do that?
They're only a bit ahead of him, except they're not really going to be the ones dishing out trouble on him when he does something that they don't want him to do.
Yeah, he's got a skill set, and that's announcing, and that's what he does.
Yeah, he's definitely not magically powerful, because he casts his level 1 disrupt spell and then basically shits himself.
That's an interesting thing. So a level 1 disrupt spell is shown being able to...
It can take down level 8 spells no problem, because teleport spell is level 6, and just level 1 disrupt
7, I think.
stops it immediately.
That's really interesting.
I want to read something that Sweet and Butter said 10 minutes ago. Is that okay?
Yeah. But since we were on
okay, so he wanted to talk about the art. He says, "Fuck, I wanted to talk about the art. Fuck my shitty internet. I like the way Ben uses his style to really fill each panel with motion. The minimalist way he draws backgrounds really gives emphasis to the great negative space use he does on his character art. Reminds me of Clamp, although there's a clear Scott Pilgrim influence, or Shuzo Oshimi."
I'm looking up this guy on Mel to see what he's done.
I'm not feeling Clamp
I don't know either
on this, but I can see the Scott Pilgrim.
He's the Akunohana guy,
but not in the character designs. The character designs are totally Scott Pilgrim-y, and the backgrounds I think are more Clampish sometimes, because I don't know. I think the panels where he emphasizes architecture and plants and stuff are much more realistic and beautiful, and then the characters are kind of more cartoony.
I think it's kind of clear he doesn't really like backgrounds, because he will take his chances to get out of having to draw a background if he can.
It says that he's all about simplicity.
I mean, it's not a bad thing.
Very time-consuming. I think it's more of a time factor than
I think he doesn't like doing it. So if he has to do it, he will. But he will still make a good image that doesn't require a background.
Yeah, the backgrounds are beautiful when he does put in the effort. I love them.
Yeah, the Coliseum looks great.
Buildings.
There is a huge disparity between.
He has specifically said he does not like drawing the Coliseum.
I mean, it's a Coliseum, so you don't really have
a difference between the fully drawn backgrounds and even just the detailed panels and the undetailed panels. There's such a big jump of right at the beginning, maybe page just a sec.
Are you talking about the shot of her apartment?
The messy apartment is really cool, but then even just the little screen where she's in at the mirror, or there's just a couple times where she'll be walking around and it'll get detailed for a second and then it'll snap back because he has such a a new agey, big smooth lines and big fat blobs of color.
Yeah, they look real inky. It's beautiful. I love it.
Yeah,
it is
and
very
also
beautiful.
very not manga.
There's an element in the black and white thing, but yeah, it's a bit too stylized, and like it is a different style to manga. And I want to bring up page 32 as being an example of him doing a really beautiful background. And I also want to bring up another thing in page 32, which is Taro appears to be some kind of satyr because of how his legs look.
Oh yeah, I didn't notice that.
Some furry little legs.
Oh yeah,
okay,
and he's fucking huge and has horns. So.
I thought it was just his armor.
I'm talking about his legs.
No, you see,
legs are
but
his legs.
When he gets skeleton, when he gets zapped, you can see his horns with like the rest of his like he gets vaporized, and you can see his face bits and his rib cage, and you can also see his big ass horns and his like, made
out of the same stuff, so of course it'd all be zapped at the same rate or whatever.
Well, like, because you see his eye holes and his teeth and stuff, and like not his hat, but you do see his horns. So like, I think those are actually part of his body.
Yeah,
the horns. The horns are part of his body. When you get a close in on them, you can see that they're not part of his helmet. They're coming out from it.
Yeah,
out from underneath it.
Minotaur boy.
How does he even put on shirts, dude?
Very carefully.
So, Sweet and Butter's trying to add more. I want to say it for him to represent him. Shuzo Oshimi more art-wise, narrative-wise, obviously not. Also a good thing of Ben is that he is self-aware of his manga influence and doesn't just throw gray screen tones to fill space. He makes the gray screen tones part of the movement. You see many shitty webcomics just slap some gray tone to use as shadow, but Ben actually makes his own. That's a good point.
That's a good
point. I like that Ben does it all himself. He doesn't just slap on some fucking pre-made bullshit. He does it from scratch.
Your words, not Sweet Butter.
He's a real art boy.
Yeah.
I guess I don't read many webcomics, but I didn't know that a lot of them did that, and that's lame.
Yeah, I don't really read very many webcomics either.
I can kind of understand what he's meaning, because even though I don't read many, I remember in Digi's K-On! Video, when he's talking in his K-On! Adaptation video. You can see in the manga version all the backgrounds just appear to be like grayed out basic images of generic school-ish looking backgrounds, and it just looks awful every time.
Like the signs don't even have text on them.
Yeah, and you can really feel that the environments here, are lived in. Especially her shitty apartment, and it's not shitty; it's just messy. The little town square.
Quite a nice apartment. It's just she made it shitty by being a lazy, messy bitch.
When he uses environments, backgrounds, he uses it to show the setting or to show the characters. So in page 6, we see Sophia's room, and it's really messy, but also she has some very nice, opulent-looking furniture to show sort of her wealth.
And the mirror is pretty nice too.
Is that a pizza box?
There's a pizza box on the floor, and there's a beer can and a plate next to the candle.
It could have been a soda can.
Right.
We don't know.
I think that's like a Coca-Cola can.
It's got some kind of scripty... I just leaned way past my mic. It's got some kind of scripty text on it.
Yeah, I think it's like a Coca-Cola can because of the swirled line on the side of it.
I don't think it's actually supposed to be Coke though. It's just a brand.
Well,
it's some type of junk food beverage.
Yeah, she's clearly
probably one of his goddamn energy drinks.
She clearly doesn't.
Well, Ben Saint's drawing it, so let's just call it a monster and call it a day.
She doesn't care much for her appearance or things being messy. She's okay with going out in just a hoodie. She could glamour herself to wear, probably some better looking clothes, but she wears, sweat clothes, and she's
obvious other people care about her more than she cares about herself, and it probably has to do with the guilt that she is an extremely powerful person in this story, and that she has given up on changing the things that upset her about her surroundings and her society.
Yeah, when you think about it that way, since she doesn't like see herself as anyone special, I guess that's why she kind of looks up to people on like the lower rung who are so passionate about their own things, and she can see that as being very inspiring in that way.
Well, yeah, and why she's so mad at Damien for being so like, we can change the world, his little like, I don't know, gay positivity.
His
and
idealism,
she gets all mad at him because she kind of wishes she has that, but she also knows that it's stupid.
Right.
What's happening?
What's going on?
What?
I think that's Sweet.
Yeah, I think Sweet's microphone.
Is someone getting mugged?
Are you shafting your mic?
I've turned Sweet's audio down.
So, when we're talking about the backgrounds, I think the thing about Ben's backgrounds that makes them really good is that when you see them, there's like a lot of kind of negative space. There's always a bit of a lack of detail, but there's enough that you always can like imagine kind of a space beyond the panel.
Yeah. He draws it so that you can fill in the details yourself.
Yeah, especially like around characters. Like I'm looking at a shot of Hyperion yelling into his little magic walkie-talkie spell.
Oh yeah,
and it's basically like it's erased all right. Sorry.
Audio ripple.
I'm a fucking pleb.
Also, every ripple is the waveform is actually a heartbeat and not what they're saying, which I think is funny.
Wait, really?
Weird. I did not.
That's probably just like a stylistic decision to make it easier.
Yeah, I think that's just laziness because it's hard to figure out what an actual waveform would look like for what people said, unless Ben physically recorded himself saying stuff and then lifted like an audio program to figure it out.
That would drew the whole waveform.
That is not necessary.
It's just easier to make a little like bump in it. So it's like they're talking.
Yeah, I think he's just indicating sound. Yeah,
and
it's a heartbeat. Are you sure about that? Is that like? How do you know that? Is that just what a heartbeat?
How do I know what?
Is that just what a heartbeat?
Haven't you ever seen a heart monitor before?
I mean, yeah.
Well, that's not measuring sound. That's just measuring frequency, right? Like how many times a thing happens, or is it sound?
I don't know technical words for audio stuff.
Well, like whenever you see audio on like a waveform, it's always
pretty famous.
Audio like waveforms always seem to have like 50 like lines going up and down all at the same time.
Yeah.
In Audacity, you can actually draw waveforms, and to get to the point, like if you just zoom in a ton on your waveform, you can see how many thousands of little bits there are. So, I mean, I wouldn't fault him for not wanting to draw that.
But
it would be ridiculous to draw accurately, but I did notice that he did almost every time, instead of making a random squiggle, it's almost always a heartbeat shape. And I wondered if, like, when a person is casting a ripple, does that mean it's like you're hearing what their thoughts are, but you have to speak into the ripple for them to hear you? Or are they actually
I just think the ripple projects sound.
I'm looking at heart thingies, and it doesn't really look.
There's a ripple that wakes Sophia up in the morning.
The way Hyperion does it, this is how I kind of see it, because it just like appears to echo throughout the entire Coliseum, like a big announcement kind of thing. So it would just be kind of weird for it to suddenly be that, like, oh, it's just going into their minds. That seems like a really high-level type of spell thing.
I didn't think it was going into people's minds. I was wondering if the original caster, it was coming from their mind. But what you just said about Hyperion just proves
like
that entirely.
Talking into it.
It's a cool idea.
Yeah,
I'm wrong,
also just in general that like magic as a stand-in for technology fusion is always really cool.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see that more in the future as the...
I actually want to know how much technology they use, because they clearly have like lamps lining the street.
Yeah, I was going to say that,
but they could be all, reverse Dumbledored, where they get light put in them magically, and then like maybe they use magic to brew their coffee at this little coffee stand, and like...
But at the same time, magic... Like, her friend appears, I can never remember her name, but her friend Agatha. Agatha always appears to, like, it just appears to be so amazed by magic that I don't think it's that common, even
I don't think so either, I think it's just a thing people use I don't think it's like a thing you can apply to like an appliance, but
like it's
might be.
I just think it's a thing that could easily be taught, but it's just not commonly taught because people just It's just one of those things.
It's a classism.
It's commonly taught at a young age, and as you see how adept people are or aren't, you keep teaching it to certain people who are good at it and separate them from people who aren't. You know, it could be something that the society actively screens for in children. We don't know.
Well, I'm sure the setting will be more fleshed out as time goes on. This first chapter mainly seems to be like getting the premise across and the characters across.
Yeah, this is all just establishing shit.
Yeah.
Sweet and Butter's typing. If someone else wants to take a turn reading for him.
Yeah, he says. Oh, okay, you go.
Well, actually, it hasn't shown up on my screen yet.
Well,
so
I think he hasn't really said much.
He said
since his art paragraph type thing.
He said the implementation of background details you can really see on the Vapors.
Yeah.
Every time I read it, I find something new that talks about his characters.
Yeah. Can we talk more about the actual characters themselves?
Sure.
We've talked a lot about the setting and the backgrounds, but we haven't gotten too much into the characters, except for Sophia.
Yeah.
Well, she's definitely my favorite.
That's probably because Sophia is clearly the one that gets the most screen time, and then Agatha is second highest billing, and then I guess there's Hyperion.
Let's talk
Hyperion
about...
is best boy, and I resent people who say he's just Nate, because he's so much better than Nate could ever hope to be.
I can see why they say he's Nate. Like the design, I guess, like with the but that's just the sunglasses. But he's
that guy from Boku no Hero.
He seems like a little shit. I don't know why he's the best boy.
I love him. He's so cute.
He's pretty cute.
He's Present Mike from Boku no Hero Academia.
I like that.
And that guy's horrible. Present Mike is awful.
This guy's way better than Present Mike.
Hat thing going on where his hat and his hair are indistinguishable, like the spike parts are coming out, and it's so Jotaro. Come on.
And it's clear that people like him because on page 12 there's a little boy and he has his Hyperion hat on, and that boy is awesome.
Yeah, he's the guy. He's the man.
Actually, no. There's two kids with a Hyperion hat on. Hyperion is clearly people. There's Hyperion fans out there, and they're cool. And they're cool people. Because
he's like a Jet Set Radio.
Cool.
He's like the guy from Jet Set Radio.
Yeah, Jet Set Radio.
What he's supposed to, and he's a hype man. He's on everybody's side at the same time, technically.
Yeah, he's there to hype people up and to make people heels and make people faces on first appearance.
He's a horrible pawn of the state.
He's there to make people have a good time.
He's the best pawn of the state.
I was going to say, he's the disgusting maw of the aristocracy.
Actually, no, he isn't. No, he isn't a pawn of the
screaming maw.
Hyperion clearly wants to make things interesting because when he sends out Damien, he is the one who's most disappointed when it's not interesting, which is why he wants to have him fight Tar to make an interesting fight for the crowd.
So it's not like he is a pawn of the state.
He's just a cog in the machine.
No, if he was a pawn of the state, he would have just done what his higher-ups told him and not sent out Damien and just let Damien keep having boring matches.
It seems like he genuinely wants the audience to have a good time and to have a good time himself. Maybe he's upset about the state of the society or what's going on.
I really doubt it.
He's trying to make the best
I really doubt that he gives a shit about anything. Or maybe he doesn't care.
Oh, you're right. It's his hat is it's not. That's not his hair.
His hat totally is different from his hair, though.
That's
his hair is black in the back, and then the hat is gray.
That's cool. Good job.
There's actually
he's got his little mutton chops and like
fashion design.
There is one panel I want to briefly complain about.
Okay, what?
On page 22, the bottom left panel, Damien has like a massive eye that has all these lines. It's really weird.
Oh yeah, okay. So in my notebook, I have a couple pages of notes, and I believe I wrote in all capitals. Good God, Damien is so anime.
Yes.
That's why he's my favorite character.
Yeah. Except it does get better later. Like as he draws his eye, as time goes on, it clearly gets like less line through and more just kind of big and just like
a little
big
bit.
and different. But it's not too different as to be distracting.
Whenever he first appears,
I truly hate Damien's design, and it doesn't get any better for me. It just
I don't like Damien's design at all. I want to beat him up.
Like, those images that were popular for a while online where they would take like some kind of thing like a gummy bear or something, and then they would make like an anatomically correct version of what it would look like on the inside, and they make a weird fucked up skeleton for it, and they show you how weird and deformed it is. Like, when I saw Damien for the first time, that's what I imagined for him, and I was just like, there's no room in his skull for an actual brain. What the fuck is going on?
His eye is way too big, but on page 13, it looks better.
On page 13, it's huge.
Better by that point, but...
Okay, on page 23, when he first goes into the ring, and he drops his sword and shield and just like looks at his enemy with his giant kawaii shiny eye.
It's not the eye for me, it's the pupil.
I fucking laughing. I couldn't. I lost it. I was like hyperventilating. I was just like, "What the fuck, Ben?"
It's his head. It's his head shape is the issue. His head shape is like.
It's his pupil, the size of his eye, and his head shape all at the same time to create this horrifying thing that just looks completely out of place.
It works for for Agatha. It works fine for Agatha.
He looks fine in page 13 when it's like he's shaded and.
I don't think so. I don't think he looks fine in page 13.
Well, he looks better than he does later because
and page 22 is the weirdest one.
Smaller. His pupils are smaller because he's in a dark room. That's why it looks better. He's slightly less anime. He just has a giant eyeball, but a little tiny dot in it. And his little leech teeth, his little leech mouth.
It's a really interesting. It's really interesting a design choice that he chose this for Damien.
Yeah. Okay. So
he clearly wants people to see him as like shonen anime protagonist guy.
Yeah. He's like a little. He's
my
kind of
favorite character design in this though is on page 28. Completely random throwaway character girl with the big old braid and the claws and the metal jaw. And
I want her to braid my hair. I want to have a sleepover with her. I want to be friends.
28. That was like, for no reason, I just stared at that page forever because I was just like, this is the fucking coolest character.
Yeah, Ben can clearly make
the hottest body that Ben has ever drawn. That's like the most sexual woman I've ever seen him draw.
Yeah, he felt himself. I can't believe it.
And she's kicking ass too, so she's probably not dead yet.
Yeah.
So he'll show up later.
Maybe can make some good character designs.
Pretty much I'm shipping her right now. Here's the ship. Her and Awkward Date Man, my other favorite character.
I like the rabbit. I like the rabbit guy in the page right before that. The rabbit magic guy. He's cool.
My favorite character design is also on page 12, and it's random guy in the background who has more detail than everyone else on the bottom right page. Between the kid and his mother, there's just like this guy who has just a bit more detail than everyone else, just
walking away like.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I don't think he has more detail than everybody else.
How do you zoom in on this shit?
It's only slightly.
Only slightly more detail, but I just find it weird. He's like.
Man, Ben really textured that Sophia statue so well. It just looks so nice. Statuey. I love it.
It looks very good, yeah.
Yep, that's some nice little. That's a good brush. Yeah.
I love how he goes from the panel of her just going, and the statue is like also making the exact same face.
I just wish that was so. Like the panel above was the last panel of the page, and the panel of the statue was the next panel of the first page.
Oh, Sweden Butter also brings up cool. Robot Priest.
The robot
priest.
Robot priest.
Wait. Oh yeah.
On page 27.
That one's pretty rad.
I don't think he's supposed to be a priest. I don't think they have Christianity here, but
but he might as well be a priest. He's got like a Goku star on his forehead that almost looks.
I was gonna say Evangelion cross.
Yeah, well, I mean those same creators, so.
Did you just say Evangelion?
No. Goku stars are from uniforms in Trigger's Kill la Kill, which is the
that's
same
what you meant.
Team of people. Yeah, so the Goku uniforms have those little stars.
I was wondering what you meant by Goku
there's some
stars.
Overlapping team of people, but there's clearly like different leading people for that.
We're not talking about it.
Yeah, I mean there's carryover. Yes. Anyway, moving on to much more.
Sweet doesn't like the eye either.
Actually, the guy tearing out the guts of Robot Priest also looks really cool. I like his shoulder steam springs.
And his big fat
Sweet thinks the eye is a big pool.
Like
he wants to swim in.
The big shoulder pads.
Sweet and Butter wants to swim in Damien's giant eyeball.
Ew.
I don't. I just want to poke it.
It's got. I want to give him an eye patch so I don't have to look at it.
So there's clearly technology.
2 eye patches.
I like Damien's weird eye. It's cool.
I think he's cool. I don't dislike his design.
I don't dislike his design, except early on the eye is distracting.
It's distracting.
To the point that it pulls me out as I see his panels.
Let's talk
I would
about...
almost feel better if he
know.
just
The
kept his
first
eye
time
the
that I
same as he
saw
did when he was
it,
in
it was-
prison.
The first time I saw it, it was a bit off-putting, but then, like, looking at it again, it's like, yeah, it's a bit weird, but whatever.
I say I think Ben also noticed, because as pages kind of go forward, you see him put less detail into his eye, so it's just kind of like black iris, white.
He's aware of his
outside.
flaws. Let's talk
he
about
seems
the...
to
Let's...
be aware of that.
If Damien was locked up for 2 or 3 months, he should have a way longer beard and way longer hair.
Maybe
not everybody grows hair at the same rate.
Not
No,
everyone,
that's
not
not
everyone
true.
grows a beard, Grant. Not everyone grows a beard.
Okay, but like even if you can't grow a great beard, it would still be like a long wispy thing. Like
No,
I think
that's-
so.
Not
When I
necessarily.
first
That is
got
not
out
true.
of high school, I didn't shave for like a year, and my beard was only like 2 inches long. It was
That's
like,
how you're young.
well, yeah, I
He's
mean,
young,
Damien
too.
looks
Damien
pretty
could be
young.
Or I guess he's like 30, but...
We don't
But not
know.
everybody grows hair at the same
Damien is
rate.
like a
Well, we don't know
15-year-old,
Damien's
just like in
actual
shonen
age.
anime.
Probably, since he's so freaking shonen, he could easily be just
He's
I don't know,
actually
I don't-
16.
18-year-old prodigy.
Even
I'm under the
adults
impression that
don't always
This is
grow
not a
facial hair.
story about teen-aged people. This is a story about fucking adults.
But
man.
even
Yeah, it
adults
is totally
don't
a story
always...
about adults,
Some
except-
adults just don't grow facial hair at all. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
I mean,
fine. He's
yeah,
just
like,
he's a naked mole rat freak. Okay.
Yeah.
No,
well,
he's got some facial hair. He's just not like a Hungarian man.
Oh, only Hungarians can grow beards.
They grow big old beards. Anyway,
So that's
let's
what
talk about the
Monkey's
two
dad
now.
was.
Hungarians are known for sapping the strength of beards away from other mortal men.
Yep. That's why we had to make their country.
I really like this the smoking dude who's this coordinator for the
Yeah,
for the,
on 25.
yeah he's a really cool guy. I like how
Yeah.
I like his creepy laugh. It's really interesting, and the
his
girl's cool
big-
too.
I like
Slant
both. I
dark
like both the
eyes.
darks. I like both the dark suit guys. They're both cool in their own way.
Yeah, the one with the long hair. There's the panel on 29 where they're like, "Excuse me," and it's like all super shaded and like big bulgy eyes, and they're shading on the eyeball, and it's
and the
very
little
dynamic.
and little
I like it.
stress. Like,
He looks
stress.
really cool in the panel right after that, in the last panel of that page.
Oh yeah, that guy's totally
fucking
cool.
sick. I like
I
how
like
they're
to know
they're
that's
in
a fucking joint,
I'm pretty
bro.
sure that one of them is a girl.
yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
can't
Yeah,
tell.
that's a lady.
Yeah.
I'm
on
talking about
page
the dude
30,
though.
You see you can
The
clearly
dude
see
is
the
cool.
boob outline on page 30.
Yeah, she's got
They're both pretty cool. They remind me of the Turks from Final Fantasy VII.
the what?
The secret agent dudes.
The guys
I have
in
not played
suits.
Final Fantasy VII. I really
I
like how
played
these
that.
how those
I
people
played
are.
a bit of it, and I saw Advent Children, and I want to die.
Oh
I
my
like-
god, Advent Children has like nothing to fucking do with
It's not the
anything.
Final
that
Fantasy.
fucking
Advent
happens.
Children
Yep.
is like a sequel. And
It's
also
like saying I saw the Final Fantasy movie, and so that's as good
I
as
saw the published
Fuck
Final
Final
Fantasy
Fantasy.
VII fan fiction
It's
called
not
Advent
good.
Children.
It's shit.
It's not.
I just don't care about Final Fantasy. Yeah.
Okay, let's not go into Final Fantasy too much though.
Please don't. I really like how the two guys are always shown in shadow, and I think they're supposed to they're like they're supposed to like represent like the background, the underbelly of this kingdom here.
The blackened corporate greed.
Yeah, the corporate greed. You have these guys
Yeah.
permanently in shadow, looking
They're
cool.
literally working in the shadows. Yes.
Yeah.
Good metaphor, Ben.
Yep.
Subtle, well memed.
Subtle like a brick to the face.
But a brick to the face that was supposed to be a lesson about something.
Yeah, the brick has a little note tied around it, and you got to pick it up afterward, and you're like bleeding out your nose on it while you're trying to read it.
Don't worry,
It's
Ben. It
just-
was subtle. Nobody else
Also,
pointed it out. It was
on
subtle.
the-
Don't worry.
Yeah. on the next page, the bearded awkward date man, I'm really identifying with him right now because I too am scritching my beard.
That's just Ben in his own comic. He just put himself in his own comic.
Except I don't think Ben would ever wear a fucking sweater vest.
I don't think he's like Ben.
Shirt.
I'm pretty certain Ben even said while doing one of his draw videos that
I know he says
this
he
is
doesn't
based
do that,
off a friend he used to know or something. This is like vaguely based off a guy he knew.
Yeah, but I think it was somebody he didn't like. Yeah, it's been a while since I saw that. It looks
like it could be anybody. There's not a lot of detail.
For average Joe, he's a neutral, kind of just whatever sort of schlubby little dude.
He does use him to get across like the moral ideas of this society when she brings up, but they're prisoners, so it's fine if we have them eviscerate each other.
It's ethical. She says it's ethical because
duh, I'm not stupid.
Like
that little
character
line.
delivered it sincerely, but the reader gets it sarcastically. Yeah, I think that was a cute little joke. That was good. Whatever. Yeah.
I just think the guy who smokes is the coolest looking guy. He's the coolest boy.
He's the coolest.
He's real cool.
I'm still ready to write my fucking fan fiction about Claw Braid.
Go ahead, she's probably dead. But...
So stoked.
Do it and post it in the Discord later.
Sweet.
On page 34, but every time you guys name a page, it seems like there's one missing on the website versus the Tapastic.
Yeah, I'm not looking at Tappa.
Yeah, I'm on the website.
Yeah, I'm on the website.
webcomics.com.
The one where it's like there's action lines everywhere, and it shows Hyperion going, "They aren't fighting," and they have the action lines inside his mouth. I feel like that was an accident. And
shit!
That looks like a total accident.
Yeah, that's not.
Yes, it is.
But also a good point about that. I didn't even notice.
Funny.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. I didn't even notice how the guy his action lines are just going straight up and down. So it's just like whatever.
Infinite.
I can totally picture Date Guy having Ben's voice though, especially in page 34.
I totally read him with Ben's voice. Or
like,
what was his face? Kumo from Scott Pilgrim.
Who?
Wait, which one is that?
Kumo or Como? He's the guy who quote unquote knows everybody. The one who, when Scott is like, "Have you seen the girl with hair like this?" He's like, "Oh yeah, I know her." And then when it's the end of the movie and he goes, "Man, the comic was so much better than the movie." It's that guy.
Yeah.
I only remember really the comic. I remember the movie, but I don't remember human beings very well. So.
Well, he's in the comic too. He even has more to do in the comic.
I don't remember.
But he's like very casual. He's always like a background character. He's an observer. He just makes these really like nonchalant comments. He's never really surprised by what's going on. He's just like, yeah, whatever. He's just very chill.
That's a very good audience surrogate.
But it's cool, yeah. Scott Pilgrim's cool.
Yeah, but I'm reading his line in the okay. Yeah, I can see that.
Well,
I can see that.
I like murder. It's okay.
Well, I suppose so.
Yeah, I can see that.
Like, even the slurp is really tiny.
Treated him badly. He must not like Damien that much, right? This is my patented Ben Saint impression.
I got some sweetened butter coming in for you. I've always been interested. I've always been interested in Agatha and Sophia's relationship. It's interesting how Agatha actually would want Sophia's powers and might actually be jealous to an extent, although her admiration overshadows it. She seems more engrossed in her love with the melee. Yeah.
I actually kind of wonder.
More engrossed in the melee than the dude.
Oh yeah, way more than the dude.
Oh,
no,
totally.
I don't.
Yeah.
She is a melee otaku.
I don't think he means she's more enthusiastic about the melee than the dude is about the melee. I think he means that she's more enthusiastic about the melee than her date, period.
Yes, yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And then she keeps feeling like kind of sheepish every time he doesn't really get into it.
He's really lukewarm on all this murder that's going on.
Yeah, which is also very relatable, being the excited person on the date. Yeah.
It's like they're watching a movie, but it's actually death.
Page 37 when Sophia's walking out
Yes,
and gives her
yes.
big like
I
grand
was gonna
entrance.
say this.
Fucking goddamn it! That is such a cool. Her expression.
Yes.
She is just my favorite of any of Ben's comic characters.
I was literally about to say that. Right.
Her face gives me a boner.
Like I love the scrape across the left panel, as you just see the shine of the armor.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then her just because all of her like disheveled.
Honestly, I think Sophia in her champion form might be my favorite character design.
Out of
all
that's
character
fair. Designs, or
out of
Ben's
all the ones here in this comic,
I think it does a good job of not going too spikes on it.
I think the shoulder spikes are a little weird.
She only has a few pinions.
The only one I find kind of weird is like the waist spikes look like they could easily get like in the way, but at the same time she's obviously so overpowered that it doesn't matter if something gets in the way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You were talking earlier.
And that's kind of weird. Like, how is she supposed to lift that sword? I know she's got magic and shit, but it just feels like
she's Cloud Strife.
Exactly.
She needs to be slightly buffer, just a little more tone.
I don't think so. She's magic. She's got like.
I love her Magda hair though. She has the Magda hair going on.
I really like really long hair.
Dude, well, her hair is a little more
it's
straight,
less poofy.
I guess.
I like Magda's hair way more.
No, I like Sophia's hair rules.
Sophia's hair is good, but Magda's hair is the toppest of tier.
Magda's hair is like if Lumpy Space Princess was on your head.
That's was on my head, and I didn't hate Lumpy Space Princess.
Yeah, Magda's hair is more iconic.
Okay, what else? Anything else you guys want to talk about?
I wanted to add a very quick thing. You were talking about Agatha in the scenes where she was like in the arena. I loved how whenever she would get more sheepish, she had the dot eyes. That was very cute. Yeah. Agatha might be one of my favorite.
In her panic,
characters.
The adrenaline kicks in and her eyes shrink.
She's a cute.
Yeah. You know, she reminds me a lot of Mayuri from Steins Gate. If any of you guys...
Yeah,
but a little more murder happy.
I see it.
Yeah.
So she's like half Mayuri, half Moeka.
Shit, she really does kind of look like her. You're right. She just needs the hat.
Okay, so if we can get Kana Hanazawa to voice Agatha, Ben Saint to voice Date Guy, Nate to voice Hyperion.
I don't know. I don't feel like Nate would be good voice for Hyperion though, because of the way that Hyperion's laugh is. I feel like he needs to be like voiced by somebody who was like generic cool black guy from 90s sitcom. I don't mean that in any offensive way, I'm sorry, but like there's a cliche way that those lines were written in those sitcoms back then, and like the delivery of his ha-has just kind of remind me of it.
Yeah, for me, ever since watching Legend of Korra, I read everything announcery in the transatlantic accent. He does I, Hyperion, have personally arranged one final impromptu match. Ha ha!
That's pretty good.
That makes it seem like some corny 1950s sci-fi bullshit.
I love that. So
Hyperion is clearly like a 90s guy announcer.
Yeah, it feels like he's like vaguely like a white person writing for hip hop kind of deal.
Part of me wants to see him saying radical because I can see him saying radical.
Yes.
Oh God.
Well, we have a tubular fight coming up, everybody.
Okay, tubular is surfer bro. That's too surfer bra.
Okay, not surfer bro, but we have a radical fight coming up. Hey.
Yeah.
All right, so Ben Saint has given us a question, and I think this is what we should end on.
It is now time for our question segment.
Where do you see the story going from here?
All right, let's do one at a time.
Okay, well, I mean, I guess I'm starting now that I said that. So with that last page there, I feel like we're not really going to see a clear winner in this fight.
Sweet and Butter loves the spikes. He loves them. Weird Chub, he loves the spikes. They're so unnecessary.
Because because Damien had too much of like a cool entrance, and establishing character dialogue. Like, he has to be an important character. I feel like Ben wouldn't just out.
I feel like I should raise my hand here and say something.
No,
in the art draw I saw for
don't.
the art draw I
We're
saw.
not talking about that. No.
What?
We don't talk about the pages that haven't been posted yet.
I'm just gonna say this, even though it's kind of a spoiler, I guess.
You should not.
I feel because it's important to see where the story is gonna go. Because
he gets blown the fuck out. Yeah, he gets blown the
totally
fuck
dead.
out.
He is dead. He gets killed in one hit.
Thank God. Yes. Okay. Awesome.
But not before bringing out some super huge like gun cannon things. Like what the fuck?
Yeah, he brings out some
Those
gun
cool.
cannons, then gets cut in half and exploded. He's dead.
Okay, sweet. So that brings me to my fucking prediction, if I'm not going over the end of anybody else's. I think...
Go ahead.
No,
Okay, so I think she was going to horribly obliterate Damien. Already came true. Nailed it. Everything I say from now on is canon. Basically, she's going to go home and kick her fucking shoes off and
too important
just
not to be
take a nap.
I think he means like in general the story, not like exactly what will happen next.
Okay. All right. Bigger scale.
It doesn't matter. We can interpret
She's
the
going on
question
with
how
the
the fuck we want.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's going on with the grind of her life, and
she's
she
gonna eat a
just
pizza.
grows more and more resentful, and you kind of get a little flashback. I think we might be getting some flashback action soon. And then you're gonna see, one, how she got to be so goddamn powerful, because how could you leave that unanswered? And then two, why she got to the point where she hates the system, even though she's one of its strongest components. I think they're gonna give the story of how she kind of came to be disenfranchised with this whole thing, and just get that sort of like, we're gonna get her perspective next, because we've kind of seen how the world sees her. Now we're gonna see sort of how she sees herself.
I think you're partially right on that. I don't know about the flashback. Maybe a little bit, but I don't think there's going to be a big flashback. I think we're just going to see she's going to be continuously more. I guess the rebellion is going to have to become a bigger plot point later on. Maybe she'll have to do some work outside of the Colosseum. I think it's going to be... She's going to start getting more and more unhappy with the state of things. And maybe what Damien's said will weigh on her a little bit.
Well, I think I'm going to read Swedenbutter's answer here. Well, I think I think the story could either become an anthology of sorts, where each chapter focuses on a different character. That would be the interesting option. Although the more realistic one is that it will become a slice of life with the occasional fight, where it's about Sophia growing as a person, in which direction don't have a concrete idea. But if Ben and he also brings it up, Ben comparing it to Watamote, and I'll get to like my opinion on this last, so you guys can go on with your opinions at this point.
I have no idea why he thinks it's like Watamote. I have no idea.
No, he wasn't finished. That was a lead up to the rest of
no, that's what Ben thinks. I want to
actually explain what Ben might say by that is that he's actually said that people might only understand where it's going when we actually see the end of chapter 1.
Absolutely.
He said that in the stream, right?
Yeah, he said that in the stream, I think.
It's pretty dumb to make an analysis of a webcomic when you only have half a chapter, but we did it, and here it is.
And it's almost like an hour and a half long.
For the other
make
half.
us wait so long.
It's been a year and a half. I don't want to wait 3 years for the rest of it.
I think he'll work faster now that he has
He's working faster, yeah.
Yeah.
He's got a good system down now. Before it was a little stuttery because he had multiple projects going on and a slightly hectic home life. But now it's like more steady.
Yeah, and now he has excited fans.
Yeah.
Excited fans and
who
no
make
nuzzle.
Well, I mean, he's had excited fans for like a little over a year now.
But are they on our level of making ridiculous long fan content?
Not yet. No. They aren't. But we're trailblazers here. We're setting a new standard. We're raising the bar. in what it means to be a Ben boy, a Ben fan here. And
less than 3 for Jackie.
I don't know where I'm going with this.
By publishing talks about his own webcomic.
By just audibly filleting him forever.
He should be a guest on here.
Yeah,
we'll get him next time. Yeah,
not even about his comic anymore.
The Fillet Ben Saint podcast, where we all take a turn to tell Ben how great he is and how we are happy to be his loving slaves.
And then we turn it around
on him
and
because
shit
I
on
suck
him.
at blowjobs.
Got him.
Sweet and butter made fan art. I might put that in the video if you want me to. I might.
All right, who hasn't said their predictions yet? Because I guess I'm going second to last.
I will not put Sweet and Butter's fan art into the thing. I will not do that.
Ray and Hargadine, me, have not said the predictions yet.
Okay, Ray, go first.
Wait, Sweet and Butter's saying something.
I technically gave a prediction, so you people go.
You people, excuse you.
Who do you mean? You
Us
that way.
900 subscriber people.
Talking to, motherfucker. I'll come over there. Over there.
You people an offensive term?
When you are being a classist, yes.
No, you people is offensive because I wish I was not a human being. Humans suck. I want to be a bug lady. Come on, man. Come on.
All right, fine. As
I want to be a
karma,
spider
I guess,
boy.
I'll give my prediction. Okay, so originally my prediction was that there would be no clear winner to the fight, and then like the story would kind of like branch off more. But
turns out you were wrong.
Yeah, but now that we know, I honestly don't really have a solid prediction.
Really?
This tapestry could go anywhere.
How about what you hope happens next?
I hope Sophia and Agatha kiss. I hope they make out.
I hope
you don't want her to make out with the braid lady with the claws?
No, braid lady is gonna hook up with Awkward Date Man.
Yeah.
She would destroy him.
And
she's
he's
the
into
real
that.
man, like Sophia.
Yeah, he's into that.
Yeah,
He's totally
and
into
he's
that.
down to be strung along.
He can watch. He can watch.
And he'll have his little Ben. Oh yeah, I can see that. Oh yeah.
Oh, another thing that could
he continues to slurp on his slushy.
Another thing that could be shown later on
happens
is getting more information on outside the Empire, because apparently it's all barbarians and crazies. From what we've seen or what we've been told.
What I hope happens. I hope we get
Or
more.
it's like the village.
And I hope that we start to see signs that Sophia will learn that things do matter, but not so much that she becomes generic.
Yeah.
Let's. Can I go?
Yeah.
Do it. Do it up.
Okay. Let's see. I see this going one of two ways. And I think both could be fun. I could see this having like a string of Damien-like experiences for Sophia, like battle after battle, these idealistic people trying to fight for what they believe in and make the world a better place, and she's just like, ugh. And then eventually she's just so tired of fighting them that she like kind of just gets dragged into fighting for a revolutionary cause, but like sort of apathetically. Like she's just like, ugh, whatever. I guess I'll help. Ugh, just stop bugging me kind of deal. Like that could happen. Or I forgot my other one already. I thought of it like 15 minutes ago. I'm sorry.
Great. Excellent.
Okay, wait. Does that mean everybody's gone?
No,
so.
I still have to go.
Okay, good. Go.
Start the show, baby.
I see it going in the way of basically. I see the ultimate ending is going to be a RoboCop ending. The power, the hierarchy, the aristocratic power is still there, and Sophia is just going to learn more about herself and going to come to a better conclusion by the end of the series. And I am going to say that what I'm expecting to see is more Damien-like things, where she meets different people in the ring. But I don't expect them to all be idealistic. I just expect them to all have Sophia think about something that is different and unique for each one.
Bless you.
Bless you.
Thank you.
Gesundheit.
I hope this. Yeah. Agreed.
I don't want there to be a bunch of flashback shit, though. I hope that the
I agree.
moving forward and that everything is explained by what continues to happen.
I feel
like
Ben is that.
if this has flashbacks, that'll feel cheap. I don't know.
How I
think we
expect
need
the
some
powers to be
flashbacks.
explained is literally just going to be they're going to say this is what happened, and there's not going to be a flashback. Sophia's just going to state it to somebody or something.
I don't know if she should just exposition dump it, though. I'd kind of like to see from her perspective.
Not exposition dump it. She's going to I think she's going to find a way to have her naturally explain it, or have somebody naturally explain it.
I'm not a flashback.
I kind of hope that things just happen, and that the audience has to keep up, and that we're not, I hope things aren't dumbed down for us. And Ben just tells us his fucking story.
I think that's Ben's style. He's not going to give us a flashback, I don't think. I think he's going to... Yeah. We're going to have to figure it out ourselves.
This first chapter was already kind of easy mode when it comes to explaining the story.
We don't even necessarily have to find out where her powers came from.
Yeah, is it even relevant? We don't.
A flashback
doesn't
have to be babying either. It could just be another part of the story.
Yeah.
It can be.
Why,
I don't think it'll happen.
Implication that it's easy mode or whatever.
I
feel like we need some details about Sophia's powers, because otherwise she just seems so overpowered that you're like, why the fuck can't you just fucking kill everyone at the top?
But it doesn't need to be explained through dialogue. We don't need to be told details. There can be details shown, and we can...
You can show.
But that's what a flashback does, right? Is show.
Well, no. Okay, look. What I think it's going to be. I think it's going to be once we learn more about how magic works, we'll understand why Sophia is as powerful as she is, and we'll understand all that stuff. I don't think we're going to get a flashback of her in the academy and all that.
I just want it to be it unravels naturally in the story, and it's not there's some big speech or some bullshit, I
don't expect her to do a big speech. Even if someone explained something about her power, I would expect it to happen naturally in conversation instead.
But in the story, there's no reason for them to explain how powers work or why she has power, because in the story, everyone else already knows, so that would only be in service to the audience, and that does feel like dumbing down the story by serving the audience too much. We shouldn't be standard to.
I don't think everyone would necessarily know.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if not everyone would know. They should know by paying attention,
No, I'm saying not everyone in the story would know.
Hargadine.
Not everyone in the story knows that much about magic inherently. He could easily find a way to...
The people in the story understand their own society. Of course, they're all limited by perspective, because they all have different places in the society, and they all have different levels of access to information, and a lot of them are getting information that's manipulated. They're getting propaganda, but still, they understand how magic works for the most part in their society. They understand how their society works for the most part because they're in it. So if it's overly explained, it just feels like it ruins the story.
I don't think it'll ruin it, but I do agree.
Yeah, I think
I would rather have it. Kind of like in One Punch Man itself. Saitama never really has his powers directly explained like that. You can only Nate obviously theorized it in a pretty good way, in a pretty understandable way, but at the same time that doesn't have to be true. We never have to learn about why Saitama is that strong. The point is
but
that
they do show you how he got it. They don't show you
with
how it
Saitama,
works. They show you how he
it's a joke, though. In that story, it's a joke.
Yeah, it's different,
but it's still real.
It's a joke. It doesn't have to. What I'm saying is that basically you don't need a detailed explanation it's like this, and it's like this, and it's going to make sense for the story because it's like this. It's like...
I like Dark Souls.
Hey guys,
I don't want you to
remember
explain
in One
anything.
Punch Man how they gave us a flashback to when Saitama had first fought a villain and got his start of being the One Punch Man?
It's not One Punch.
We should get that.
Yeah,
I don't think we need to.
That would be a good way to do a flashback. But I think also the way you could do magic going forward and teaching the audience is taking somebody like Agatha, who doesn't know magic, and by the process of seeing her learning magic, because she's naive about the system, by the process of seeing her learn about the system, then we, as the audience, could also. Because Sophia doesn't have to reiterate
like
everything.
She's oblivious to the system. It just seems like she is inept at actually using those skills. But she seems to understand what's going on. And plus, she's sitting in the audience all the time. Like, you think she doesn't know? She talks to Sophia all the time.
Well, yeah, but if she was to learn magic, we would kind of learn it with her. Or if she was to learn what's bad about the government, we'd have to learn that with her.
Well, actually, what I was going to say about Agatha is that I think she just kind of understands the existence of magic, and she accepts it as part of the society, but she doesn't understand it. She just knows it is something that happens. It is something that exists.
I think we'll learn. I think we'll learn about how magic works. We're gonna learn how magic works, and Sophia is just really strong at magic. I think once we learn how magic works, we'll see why Sophia is so strong. Because she can just be good at it like a good athlete.
Yeah, I have to agree with that. Yeah. I
feel like there has to be some kind of special reason.
The audience should earn the right to understand the story to a small degree. Like, I'm not saying like extremely, like make the story purposely confusing or something. And like, it's just, I don't want shit explained. I just want it to be understandable if you're paying any attention at all. And I don't want the characters to act out of character when they're talking to each other. That first conversation with Agatha and Sophia, like when they're just talking about Agatha's job, it did feel like that was a little more to the benefit of us, the audience, than it was to them. If they realistically had this conversation before, like there's too much, like they're still explaining it like they don't know each other and like they don't already know the situation about each other's jobs. But it was to our benefit, not to their benefit, that conversation, you know? And I don't want a lot more of that, but I can totally understand why Ben did that for their first conversation, for their introduction to the story, and for our introduction to the story.
Dark
Soulsiness, I don't want a lot of that going forward.
Is close to godliness. I like Dark Souls.
Okay, everybody likes Dark Souls. I have not played.
Let's see what Sweet and Butter. Let's see what Sweet and Butter says.
I've beaten it a few, almost 10 times.
Sweet and Butter says flashbacks can be cool. They just need to be psychedelic and stuff, not just a gray tone over a normal draw.
He also said that he's the neg boy, and he's gonna when the date guy gets cucked, he's gonna pick up the pieces of his tarnished heart.
Yep.
That's so cute.
And I think with that should be it.
Guy.
That should be our podcast.
I just see this being more character focused and probably more hinting than full encyclopedic exposic.
Ben, put a fucking archive on your fucking website.
I don't think Ben would ever go full encyclopedic exposition.
Yeah.
I think he would I think his exposition would always...
not a nerd.
Ben wants his conversations to feel good to read and not completely unnatural and robotic. Like,
please.
I can remember the time I learned magic. It was 11 years ago, and baby.
Oh God!
Please put a list of pages on your website so that I can go. I can choose a page and I can go to it.
He's a great person because he has shame still. People think he doesn't because he eats garbage, but he totally still has shame.
He has artistic. He's still ashamed of eating garbage. He's still ashamed of his.
I don't think
Ben is still ashamed of his secret garbage pile that he hides from Jackie that he goes to every week to eat out of.
He like keeps rancid food under the mattress and purposely ferments like a roast chicken corpse or something.
This podcast is going to be unusable for anybody who does not know who
Little
Ben
do we know
is.
when she talks about the prison
for us, no one else
recipe
will listen to
for
it.
toilet booze. He's like
Ben is taking notes.
Yeah, he's writing down these recipes on little cue cards.
Okay,
Ben is listening to this, taking notes. He's like, "Oh, my shitty teenage audience doesn't want Damien dead."
Teenage audience.
Wait, are any of us? Which of us are teens?
I am.
I'm still 18.
I was referring to myself.
Okay,
Fucking
so
disgusting.
we got 2 teens. We got 2 or 3 teens.
I'm cutting you out of the podcast because of that. I can't have any.
Yeah, we
here.
can't have minors in here. I've been swearing so much. I'm gonna paint you.
I'm gonna go to jail.
I am 18. That's like that's the bridge of being a minor. So yeah, I'm still a minor, but not legally.
No, you're not a
I'm
minor.
18 in like less than a month. So
18 is legally not a minor.
Babysitter's babysitter. Great.
Technically, legally, not a minor. You can still throw me on the street completely legally, so it's fine.
All right.
I
So,
hope no one throws you on the street.
any closing thoughts? Keep them short.
Champion's not even good.
What?
Less than 3
Just
in the
kidding,
comments.
It's good.
And I'll give you a thumbs up.
Please tell us who was the worst, and let's all have a good discussion.
You can put in the straw poll, who is the plebe and who is the weeb.
In the comments, please write your predictions or hopes for where the story goes.
Yeah, do that. That sounds good.
Tell us your favorite character, which is obviously Hyperion, because he's best boy, but he's better than Bestie
it's
Boy.
The smoking guy.
That's how best he is.
You have some serious beef with a certain Mr. Guy Ever.
Not serious beef. I am annoyed, though.
Let's not talk about that.
So let's have beef in the comments.
He could be worse. He could be
in
Jeff.
In the comments, tell me why I'm wrong, because of course everybody's wrong.
Please tell me if you liked it. I'll probably do more shit like this. Maybe.
When the full chapter
you should totally make this a regular thing where you talk about webcomics with people who read that webcomic, because you've read like a bajillion webcomics, and I think that'd be really cool.
I'm gonna try.
You should do that.
Yeah, that's my plan. All right.
Outro theme song.
Let's
no.
Give a sign off. I the
supposed to be working.
SaintComics.com.
Patreon.com/Ben Saint.
Yeah.
-3 for Jackie, or less than 3.
Less than 3.